Today on the channel from Figure Collections and Wrestling Megastars Series 2, we've got Gangrel.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another retro-style wrestling figure unboxing and review. And today on the channel from Figure Collections and the Megastars Series 2 wave, we've got Gangrel. But for all your wrestling figure needs that are not retro-style figures, at least as of right now, make sure you're hitting up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. But Gangrel, a highly anticipated one and one of the characters that didn't have the longest run of all time, but a lot of people, especially of the Attitude Era, really do remember Gangrel very fondly. Of course, the wrestling vampire, as we do know, and a guy that's had some figures over the year, but not enough figures, I think. I think we really do need an elite jazzware style of Gangrel. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Figure Collections in the Uncensored line, or maybe Zombie Sailor, or one of these, maybe even Power Town, who knows. We got to get a Gangrel one of these days, and I think there's enough money on the table that I think that will happen to us sooner rather than later, so stay tuned for that. But we're taking a look at his retro style, of course, Hasbro retro WWF style back in the day. That's what these are accustomed to, and we know there's all the other companies that are making these currently, and we do know Figure Collections is making these. This is Megastar Series 2, but they also have their new line as well, so I'm not sure exactly how this all pieces together. It's still a little bit confusing with the fall of Cella, but I'm sure it'll all be a little bit clearer as time goes on. But we're going to do one thing that is really clear. We're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And there's old Gangrel, looking only like a Gangrel could look in the retro line. Looks very cool, the carding-wise. Definitely feels like it could fit in with the old Hasbro days, especially the little action down there. That always looks really good. Gangrel in the package looks nice. Nice artwork of him. Got the blood on here. It's crazy how, being a kid's toy, you wouldn't think they put a lot of blood, but a lot of figures we have received from him over the years have had some blood going on, so I'm not against that. Ages 15 and up, I'm sure that's kind of legality reasons there to avoid some toy rules and things like that. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, most people getting this are adult collectors, we'll call them. On the back, got the big cross sell, you got the blurb and all that kind of fun stuff. And let's see what it says back here about old Gangrel. It says Gangrel, height 6'1", 250 pounds. Origin, the other side of darkness. Oh, I would not go over there. It's even darker. If you think darkness is dark, the other side of darkness, even darker. Even darker. There you go. Since 1987, Gangrel has been brooding in the shadows of the wrestling world, keeping his opponents on edge with one of the most deadly DDTs in wrestling. So there you go. And one wrestling figure point here. They've never said what it's actually going to do, but we'll see what happens one of these days. On the back, they got the big cross sell, Dynamite Kid, Hayabusa. We've seen Tango Loa. I don't think that one's out yet. Maybe it is. I don't think it is, though. Greg the Hammer Valentine, very interesting. Of course, we do have the Mattel Creations one that just recently came out, so we'll see how well theirs does. Of course, Adam Bomb, we've seen in many versions. Big Stevie Cool, Blue Meanie, man, I can't wait for those. I love the BWO. The artwork on the back of the Stevie Cool looks a little interesting, though. But then Demolition is going to be a huge one here. You guys know I love my face paint. I'm a sucker for face paint. What can I say? This is Series 2. He does come with this little blood goblet. I like that. You don't get a ton of accessories all the time. But let's get down to it. Let's bust him out of the pack. And he falls right off the card. This was not very tight on there, apparently. There it is. See you later. Goodbye. And we're going to look at this goblet first. All painted red inside with red over the gold. Looking really good. Looking very much like something a vampire, old Count Dracula would have there. Filling it with some blood. Looks really nice as an extra accessory here. But will he be able to hold it? Well, there you go. It just kind of rests in his hand, so he can hold the accessory. That's always very important, if you ask me, and he can. Now we got Gangrel here, and I like the weight of this Gangrel. Feels like it's a little bit meaty here. It just feels okay. It feels good in hand. There's no action. There's not like the Mattels or the Hasbros of old. You can't wing back and this will swing on you, so we don't have any of that going on. Not the end of the world, but I knew some collectors say, hey, if it doesn't have the action, it's not a retro, and I kind of understand that a little bit. He does got the old clothesline arm. Very interesting. He's actually double jointed on his elbow. He can go back a little bit farther than he probably should, so it'd be really great if you're playing with these. Oh, he dislocated his elbow. He's hurt. They're going to stop the match. I could see all that going on. But you get the side-to-side turn there at the elbow. Of course, the joint in the middle looking really good. hands do not move, but he does have a nice one. This is a nice looking figure here. As far as playability wise, back in the day, this would have been a really good one, I think, in our figure federations. Go open hand on the other side. They do got the black nail polish on the hands. I like that attention to detail. And you get the ring there. So you could also use the ring as a weapon if you wanted to, if you were playing with them, I'm sure. We got waist articulation there, and then that's it. There's no bottom half articulation. Got the black pants going on there, and got little silver studs throughout. Of course, the white puffy shirt like a young Seinfeld going on, but I do love the red blood splatter throughout the chest, on the shirt, coming down the mouth, the big vampire teeth, the big tongue sticking out. Usually I'm not a guy that likes figures with the tongue sticking out for the most part. Few I do, but most I do not. It works here for Gangrel with the blood and stuff, spitting it out. I like how that looks. Of course, he's got the blonde hair going on against the blue eyes, which does pop as well. Not a bad looking figure at all. This one is pretty good. This met my expectations. That's always a good day at the office. I like what I'm seeing here, and the extra accessory of the goblet really does work for this one. So I like it. I like what I'm seeing here. Does he fit on a stand? That's going to be the million-dollar question. The ringside collectible stand, of course. Make sure you get the Mattel stand. Make sure you use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. And what do you know? He fits on a Mattel stand. So if you need a little extra stability for Gangrel, you can plop him one of these bad boys, and you are truly off to the races. So I really do like this one. Let's compare him against a Zombie Sailor Toys figure. There's old Matt Cardona next to him, so you can kind of see Zombies figures have that Hasbro shine, so that is a difference you notice right off the bat. Scaling and sizing is different as well, which, you know, they're two different toy companies, so that's kind of the way it's going to go. Nobody's going to be absolutely perfect in scale, but Matt Cardona definitely taller than Gangrel, I think, or maybe they're about the same height, pretty close, I would say, but Matt's a lot smaller here, but he does have a little bit more of a crouch to him, but just the body sizes do truly look different. Comparing him to another Cella figure, how about Jay White? So this is what I'm talking about. This was a Cella of old, which technically this is his figure collection, but this was announced during the Cella time frame. These guys just don't really scale up. But I gotta say, I gotta be honest, for retros, it was kind of always that way, if you do know your old school WWF ones back in the day. So it's not the end of the world, just kind of the way these figures are, but I wanted to point these out a little bit. And then, of course, you get an old school Hasbro. I got the Honky Tonk Man. He's just a song and dance man right there, and he doesn't fit too bad with the Honky Tonk Man, I don't think. So that does kind of work, if you want to call it that. So we do have that. And, of course, isn't the only Gangrel figures we've had over the years. Just most recently, the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Major Bendy's line, make sure you pick those up. They did come out with two versions of Gangrel, a bloody one and a regular one, so you can kind of see a little Gangrel there, a little side by side. So Gangrel getting two figures in the span of like a couple of weeks. That's pretty cool after a long time of not having any Gangrel figures. And then, of course, the best Gangrel figure of all time still for me is going to be the Bone Cruncher. Man, that is very cool. And I've always said it, the Bone Cruncher figures were probably the best playability figures of all time. Yes, I know people love the Elites, things like that, the Ultimates. There was just something special about playing with a Bone Cruncher. I guess maybe I had to be there. I don't know. But very, very cool to get Gangrel again. Now we're just missing the 6-inch scale, the Elite, the Jazzware scale, something like that for Gangrel. And I have to think that's coming sooner rather than later. It just has to with all these Gangrel things coming out. But what say you guys? What are your thoughts on the Gangrel, easy for me to say, retro figure? You picking this one up, playing the long game, out of the retro game, waiting for a scaled one with your Elites? Let me know your Gangrel thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. You might as well like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell. Don't forget about the Patreon link in the description below for early access to videos like this, bonus content, exclusive content, Q&As, and best of all, you do support the channel. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson, and then don't forget about the social media, of course, SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Gangrel and vampires everywhere, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.